Can hard work truly beat natural talent? I mean, is natural innate intelligence the only guaranteed path to success? Or is there something else? Another, maybe even more powerful force at play? Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into this, because let's be real. It's a question we've literally all asked ourselves at some point, right? Whether we're struggling to learn a brand new skill, hitting a wall in a tough subject, or just trying to move up in our careers, we tend to look at those naturally gifted people around us and think, man, I just don't have what it takes. But today, we're going to totally challenge that assumption. Our analysis today centers on a truly inspirational story from ancient times, the story of a young boy named Vidraj. And this story brilliantly illustrates how sheer, unyielding grit and the power of consistency can actually outmatch what we typically call talent. This isn't just some made-up fable either. It's a real historical account of transformation, and I promise you, it's going to completely change the way you think about your own potential. Section 1. Life at the Gurukul. Education in Ancient Times. So, to really grasp Vardachara's journey, we gotta transport ourselves back to ancient India. Back then, as our source material points out, there were no standard schools, no classrooms with whiteboards, no libraries with shelves overflowing with books. Instead, education happened in a place called a Gurukul. Kids were actually sent away from their villages to live in their guru's ashram. And daily life there was about so much more than just reading. It was about living. The students grazed cows, gathered firewood, did daily chores, and, of course, studied together. Now, Vardachara was sent to this Gurukul just like any other boy. And honestly, for the most part, he fit right in. He hung out with his friends, played alongside his peers, and did his fair share of all those physical chores without a single complaint. Just a normal, happy kid. Section 2. The Pain of Failure. The underdog of the ashram. But there was a catch. There was exactly one area where Viraja failed, and he failed miserably: his studies. While the other students easily soaked up whatever the guru taught and moved up year after year, Viraja really struggled. The letters, the meanings, the ancient shlokas, to him, they literally just looked like tangled threads. The guru would explain things over and over until he was completely exhausted, but nothing registered in Viraja's mind. And because of this, he was left behind. The other kids in the ashram started to mock him. They began calling him Mandabudi, which basically translates to dull-witted or slow. They told him he would never learn a single thing. I mean, imagine being completely isolated, sad, and broken while everyone around you is just moving forward. Eventually, things reached a breaking point. The guru, who was supposed to be the ultimate teacher, finally just gave up. He called Vardharaj over and delivered this completely crushing blow. I have tried everything, but education is not in your destiny. Go home and help your parents farm. He flat out told Vardharaj he was just wasting his time. Hearing this must have felt like a massive boulder being dropped right on the young boy's chest. Heartbroken, with tears in his eyes, Vardharaj agreed. He thought to himself, maybe the guru is right. Maybe studying just isn't in my destiny. And with that, his academic journey was seemingly over. Section 3. The Rope and the Stone. A Thirsty Walk Home. So, Vardharaj packed his things and started the really heavy-hearted walk back to his village. It was the middle of the afternoon, and the sun was absolutely scorching, just raining down fire from the sky. Overcome by intense thirst, Vardharaj looked around desperately for some water. Luckily, he spotted a local well where some women were drawing water, and he hurried over. But as he got close, something incredibly surprising caught his eye. Deep, uncarved marks grooved right into the solid stone at the edge of the well. It was such a fascinating visual that he momentarily forgot how thirsty he was. He turned to an old woman standing nearby and asked, "Mother, how did these deep marks get on this stone? Did someone carve them?" The old woman just laughed. And her response? It's basically the critical revelation of our entire explainer today. She said, no one carved these. These marks were made by the soft, thin rope rubbing against the stone every single day. Just let that sink in for a second. She pointed out how incredibly soft and delicate the rope was, yet simply because of the daily friction of going up and down, it had somehow managed to carve deep grooves into solid, unyielding rock. Think about this central metaphor for a minute. A soft rope, fragile, easily cut, seemingly totally weak, possesses this crazy power of consistent daily friction. Meanwhile, the hard stone, solid, tough, seemingly unchangeable, is deeply marked and permanently changed by that rope. For Vardharaj, this struck his heart like an arrow. He had an instant epiphany. He thought, wait,
If a fragile, soft rope can leave a permanent mark on solid rock through daily repetition, then surely, if I consistently practice every single day, I can leave a mark of knowledge on my own mind. It was a massive realization. If the rope could do it, his consistent effort could absolutely transform his struggling mind.
Section 4. The Power of Consistency. The Return to the Gurukul. With this massive, sudden surge of belief and a brand new shine in his eyes, Vardadrad made a firm decision right there at the well. He wasn't going home. He rushed all the way back to the Gurukul. The guru was completely astonished to see him back so soon, but Vardadrad, just overflowing with newfound confidence, told him the story of the well and begged for one last chance. The guru, seeing the burning determination in the kid's eyes, agreed. And from that day on, Vardadrad's entire life changed. This right here is what true consistency looks like in practice. Step 1, wake up incredibly early, way before anyone else. Step 2, sit closely with the guru. Step 3, ask questions, memorize, and really work to understand. And step 4, the absolutely most important one, repeat relentlessly, even when he made mistakes. He turned day and night into one single, grueling, uninterrupted routine of practice. And the results? Well, the crucial point here is that it didn't happen overnight. It never does, right? But gradually, his unstoppable repetition began to untangle the complex grammar. The shlokas that once looked like tangled threads finally began to make sense. And those peers, the exact same kids who had bullied him and called him Mundbuddy, they were left utterly stunned by his dedication. The whole dynamic completely shifted. They basically just watched in awe as the boy who they had totally written off completely outworked every single one of them. Section 5. A Scholar's Legacy. From dull-witted to master. Within a few years, Vardadrad didn't just catch up to his classmates. He didn't just pass his classes. His relentless practice turned him into literally one of the most renowned scholars of his time. His fame spread far and wide. And the crazy thing is, we have tangible, historical proof of this in the legendary texts authored by Vardadrad himself. He wrote absolute masterworks of Sanskrit grammar, the Laghu Siddhant Comedy, the Madhya Siddhant Comedy, the Sar Siddhant Comedy, and the Jirvan Padan Manjari. Like, these aren't just myths. These are real, historical texts that scholars still study and respect today. It brilliantly illustrates that his method of extreme consistency yielded legendary, world-changing results. So let's take a step back from ancient history for a second and look at our own modern lives. The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is super clear. Do not rely on luck, rely entirely on relentless practice. Whatever it is you're struggling with right now, maybe it's a difficult course, learning a complex new software, or a really tough project at work, never think you are inherently too weak or too dull to get it. Because think about it, if Vardadrad had given up and just accepted his destiny as a failure, the world would have literally never known his name. But he proved that consistent, targeted practice is the greatest miracle of all. I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful thought from our source material today. Work hard and watch the stone melt like wax. The next time you face a seemingly impossible obstacle, a solid stone in your path, ask yourself, are you the rope? Are you applying that daily, quiet, unrelenting friction? Keep showing up, keep practicing, and eventually, that stone will yield. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, what marks are you going to carve into your own stone today?